Okay, so let's talk about it. Tonight's topic is going to be talking about Saturn ruled houses. Oh, look at a thumbs up. Okay, I'm gonna get to it. Let me shut up and get to it. So tonight's topic. I'm so glad you did backflip your way in here. Okay, so tonight's topic is about Saturn ruled houses, and I chose this particular topic because I felt like this is very much needed in the way of understanding certain areas of your life that you may feel or have already identified are a challenge for you. So, in astrology, hey sis, we have 12 houses in astrology. They represent 12 areas of our lives, and they are ruled by 12 different signs, i.e., 12 different planets. When we're looking at your natal chart, it's going to look different for everyone depending on your rising sign. So tonight we're going to be talking about two particular areas in your life that are considered Saturn ruled houses. So first let's define, or let's get the understanding of the properties of Saturn. All right. So Saturn is typically described as the taskmaster of the zodiac. So when we think about the planet Saturn, we think about things that have to do with structure, discipline. We think about things that have to do with the law, authority figures. When we talk about Saturn, we think about restriction, delay, duty, responsibilities, obligation. Saturn is about our ambition, okay? It's also the planet of time. So it has everything to do with the timing of things, and it has a lot to do with order. So when we're talking about Saturn, we're talking about a planet that wants things done in order. Saturn is a very traditional energy. It's the planet of what we consider karma. All right. So when we look at Saturn in the way of the planet of being of karma, it's like if you don't do it the way it's supposed to be done, there could be some karma that comes along with Saturn as well. But it's all about lessons. It's all about growing. It's all about putting down a foundation. And Saturn is not the energy of anything quick. It is definitely not the energy of instant gratification. It is the total opposite of instant gratification. When we think about instant gratification, we think about planets like Venus being a planet of wanting instant gratification. Or we think about a planet like Mercury, really fast moving energy. Change is one of the things that represents Mercury. We think about Jupiter with big blessings coming our way. Saturn is none of that. Saturn is very restrictive, very duty oriented, and moves very, very slowly. And again, Saturn can also be very challenging. This is where we're going to learn a lot of our lessons with regards to Saturn. Now, in astrology, Saturn rules two signs. All right. In most of astrology, the zodiacs have one planet that is assigned to them. There are a couple of zodiacs that share planets. Now, for example, if we were looking at the planet Venus, Venus actually rules Taurus and it rules Libra. So when we're looking at those two, they share Venus. They're going to have a lot of the same similarities in the way they operate, but there's going to be differences in how Venus will show up. When we're thinking about Venus with regards to Taurus, we're thinking about material things. We're thinking about tangible things because it rules the second house. We're talking about money with regards to Venus. And Venus also rules Libra, and Libra rules the seventh house. We're looking at more of a relationship, partnership type energy and how Venus shows up. Another planet that rules two signs is going to be Mercury. Mercury rules Gemini, and it rules Virgo. So when we think about Gemini, Mercury ruling Gemini, we're thinking about of the mind. We're thinking about exchanging information. We're thinking about communication. We're thinking about transportation. Anything with small moving parts, detail oriented. It's very detail oriented, and that's how it shows up. When we are looking at Mercury in Virgo, it's a little bit different of energy there. This could be the energy of being kind of OCD, a stickler for details. Where Gemini wants to get in there and learn everything, Virgo wants to get in, Mercury in Virgo wants to get in there and know the fine details of everything. And it is all about perfection. So those are examples of sometimes when you have a planet that's doing double duty in signs. Now, we're talking about Saturn tonight. And typically, Saturn rules Capricorn. Okay, so Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, and Capricorn rules the 10th house. So this would be the career house, which is very on par for Saturn, because number one, when we look at the 10th house in astrology, we're looking at the top of the zodiac. So we're looking at where we are most visible. We're looking at our career. We're looking at our reputation, our public image. We're also looking at how we relate to and the experiences we have with authority figures, things of that nature. So we're looking at a lot of structure. We're also looking at government, because in the 10th house, this is where we have government and long-term commitments and things of that nature. We have the military there. However, there's just depending on the astrologer and how they practice, we have what we call traditional astrology, which is from the beginning, and then we have modern astrology. And modern astrology came in when we were discovering the new planets. So in traditional astrology, Saturn governs the sign of Capricorn, but it also governs the sign of Aquarius. So if you're Aquarius and a Capricorn placements, you may see a lot of similarities in their lives and how they operate and how they move through life, the challenges that they may have, the delays that they may have, the hard lessons that they may have, may seem very similar when it comes to Aquarius and Capricorn. The only difference is in modern astrology, Aquarius is ruled by the planet Uranus, which is the planet of innovation, revolution, unexpected events, unexpected changes, and doing things differently in a more forward-thinking type of manner. So what happens is, whereas Capricorn is all about structure, discipline, tradition, doing things like they've always been done, to a certain degree, Aquarius is the same way. But here's where Aquarius struggles, because as much as Aquarius wants to have the structure, have the discipline, and do all those things, Aquarius is going to want to rebel against those things. At some point, it's going to be like, this doesn't work for me. I want to do something differently. I know that, I'm supposed to be doing it a certain way, and there's steps to be done. But Aquarius has that dual energy where it kind of is like fighting the establishment, fighting how things are always done. If it's not working, Aquarius wants to try something different. So tonight we're talking about these two particular areas in your birth chart where you may feel as if there is delays, where there's always challenges, where you feel like, why is this area of my life so resistant? Why am I not seeing any success? What is happening? Why am I having all these? And y'all know I hate to use positive and negative. So I'm going to use, why am I having all these challenges in this area of my life? And when is this going to ever get better? Because it does get better. Because even though Saturn may be the planet of all this delay and structure, Saturn actually wants to reward you after you learn the lesson. Saturn is all about learning the lesson during the work. If you do the work, if you learn the lesson, if you do it the way it's supposed to be done, Saturn will reward you. And a lot of times when we're also dealing with Saturn, this is the energy of life gets better as you get older, and you'll start to see the difference. But it's all about the lessons. Now, that's one area. The second area you're going to be talking about, very much similar to that, but this is going to be the area where it is calling for you to do things differently. You can't stay in the traditional role. You can't continue to play it safe. You can't do what everyone else is doing. You're going to have to figure out your individual path in this, and it may not look like what everyone else is doing. It may go against the grain. It may be something that you have to think of outside of the box. But if you do, it will work out for you. So does anyone have any questions so far about the energy of Saturn, what it rules, what we're going to be talking about tonight? Please let me know in the comments. Again, this is going to be based on your rising sign. This is not sun sign. This is not moon sign. None of this is going to work if you're basing it on those particular signs. This is all about your rising sign. So you need to have your rising sign, know what it is in order to take the full benefit, get the full benefit of this information that we're going to be sharing. And also, as we're going through these, and if I'm talking about your rising sign, please let me know if this resonates with you, if you're having these types of experiences, and especially depending on how old you are, because a lot of this energy is actually plays out a lot in your 20s. You won't start to see a lot of changes with Saturn until you get like mid 30s, maybe probably after 33. Now again, you got to get the lessons, but you may start to see things clearly once you get into your mid 30s. Before then, I can already tell you, it's hell. It is hell. Saturn is hell on you in your 20s. So you really start to get the lessons a little bit later on in life. So just let me know if this resonates with you and when I'm talking about your rising sign. So right now, what rising signs do I have on here? Please put them in the chat so I can know who I'm talking to when we go through the list. And we're going to run through this list real quick. At any time, if I'm going through this, just put your question in the comments and I will try to get to them. So I got a Cancer rising on here. I got a Leo rising on here. Also, some of this information is going to resonate with two signs. So make sure you're kind of listening. I will let you know if the information I gave you, how it plays out in both signs and how it's going to be a little bit differently. Hey, Deborah, how you doing? So I got two Cancer risings. I got a Leo rising on here. I love my Leo risings because that's me. That's me. All right, so let's get started. So we're going to start at the top of the zodiac, of course, with Aries rising. So Aries rising. Okay, so the two areas that we're going to be talking about for you, first we're going to start with your Saturn ruled house. So this is where you're going to be looking for in your birth chart where Capricorn is in, what the house that Capricorn rules, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And for you, that is going to be in your 10th house. So if you're an Aries rising, you have a Saturn ruled 10th house of career. So some of the things that could be playing out for you, especially early in life for you, is challenges around finding the ideal career. So because we're looking at the 10th house, we're looking at your career, your public image, your reputation. This could also be your association, affiliation, or how you relate to authority figures. And when we talk about authority figures, we are talking about authority figures in work, in your career, in your profession. We could also be talking about authority figures with regards to the law. Okay, so keep that in mind because the 10th house is authority figures, and we put the military, police officers, things of that nature in this particular area. This is also an area that governs, it is a parental house. And so when we talk about parental houses, we somewhat equate the 10th house to father energy. So this may be your father. However, I try not to put gender on it. So we can also look at it from the perspective of the more dominant parent or the more dominant family figure or parental figure in your life. So that could be your mother or your father or whomever raised you or however you were raised. So when we're looking at that, your challenges on the beginning ends of your life and probably the themes through your life is this is an area of your life that can be a challenge area for you. So we're looking at, for my Aries risings, difficulties in finding the ideal career for you. You may go through a series of being in careers that you really just hate and you're just there, but you are having trouble identifying what works for you. Now, I will tell you this. Aries is the sign of the entrepreneur. Now, I'm not going to say that everybody is going to be a business owner or should be a business owner, but I will say if you're an Aries rising, you need to think really, really hard about having your own business. What is ultimately probably happening with you is you want to be in charge. You want to be the leader. So some of my Aries risings need to take into consideration that being their own boss may be something that they would actually excel in. Now, this could look like you at some point in your life maybe becoming a full-time entrepreneur or a part-time entrepreneur. But I feel like having something to call your own is going to be more of the path that you need to take that is going to satisfy this restlessness that you have around your career. So be mindful of that. Another thing that could come up for you is difficulties with authority figures. So this could be that you have a history of clashing with the supervisor, clashing with the boss, going toe to toe, having difficulties dealing with people in authority. And when we talk about authority, this could be you having difficulty with authority figures when it comes to the law. So Aries being a sign that is about confrontation and combativeness, this is something that you're going to have to learn over time as to how to channel that energy, choosing your battles, picking your battles. Everything is not a war. Everything is not a battle. So that's something that I would say for my Aries risings could come up for you down the line. Now, as you progress through life, once we start getting into past that, again, that Saturn return age around 33, you may start to get more clarity around your career aspirations. You may get more clarity around what you want to do. Again, everything has to be done in order. This is the area of your life where you cannot skip steps. You just can't go from, oh, I want to open a business, and then a year later, I'm a multimillionaire. It doesn't work like that with Saturn. It has to be done in order. Now, you may look around in any other area of your life, you're able to skip steps, you're able to do this and do that. This ain't it. Your career is not an area that you can skip steps in, unfortunately. You have to make the plan, you have to build the foundation, and you have to be patient. The biggest theme of this information that I'm giving everyone tonight is patience is the number one thing that you're going to have with regards to Saturn energy. And for Aries rising, I know that is a challenge because this is the first sign of the zodiac. This is the sign that acts on impulsiveness. Let's get things done. You're going to have to learn patience in the area of your career. You're going to have patience in the area of dealing with authority figures. Now, another thing that can play out with this energy for Aries risings, you may go through a period of because your public image and reputation is here, you may suffer in that area. You may be one of those people that everybody always has something to say about you, and it may be from a negative perspective. So you may deal with a lot of gossip and slander and people, putting out false information on you. You may go through that cycle as well. So you have to be careful with that, how you show up. And that is, again, something that you can't react to, because unfortunately that just could be something that you just have to go through with this cycle of Saturn, and Saturn being on your 10th house. This could also bring some difficulties in the area of how you relate to your parents. Again, as I described earlier, this is a parental house. So this may be you start off in your younger years having a difficult relationship, possibly with your father, maybe even your mother, just depending on who's the dominant person in your life. This could be, having difficulties in that relationship. But the beautiful thing about Saturn is, again, the more patient you are, the more Saturn rewards you, the more easier life gets for you. But you have to be patient. You have to do the work. You have to understand what the lesson is. So you may see a lot of karma, again, around your career, how you relate to your parents, and with regards to your reputation. Now, you're also going to be looking at the area that governs your friends. So again, this could be difficulties because Aquarius is ruling this particular house, and Aquarius is ruled by Saturn as well, and as well as Uranus. You may have difficulties with your friendships. Now, this could tie into you being on the victim of a lot of slander. Remember, we talked about your reputation probably taking a hit, or it seems like someone is always talking against you. This actually may come from a friend circle. So you may have difficulties with friends in your younger years, over the years. You may go through periods in your life where your friend groups are very just kind of, you don't have a lot of friends in your life. I could put it that way. I'll put it that way. So you may go through periods where you don't have a lot of really solid friendships in your life, or you have a lot of difficulties with friendships or maintaining friendships in your early years. This could also look like, because this is the area that governs your long-term goals, you struggle with what your long-term goals are. You struggle with obtaining or reaching your long-term goals, all right? You struggle with structure and how you have a goal for yourself. Again, we want to make sure we're doing things in order, in the steps that they need to be done. And you may struggle with not wanting to put in the work, put in the time, put in the effort, and go through a series of not completing those long-term goals for yourself. Again, this is a lot to do before, when you're in your 20s to about your mid-30s. But if you start getting the lessons, the structure becomes different. Now, where it's going to be a little bit of a twist for you is because this is the house that is also governed by Uranus. For me, you're going to have to be open to different types of people. So as you get a little bit older, when you're in your younger years, you may have a set group of friends, or you may have a set type of friend or something, or group that you align yourself with. As you get older, I want you to be more open to inviting new people in your life. Be open to people that are totally, totally different from what you would normally attach yourself to. That is going to be a blessing for you. I want you to think outside of the box on people that you relate to. Also, one of the things that could come up for you is this could spark a lot of humanitarian type work for you. I find with my Aries risings, they actually get a bad rep as being selfish, which is not always true, because I find a lot of Aries risings are very generous and love to give back. So you may find yourself being drawn to doing humanitarian work. You may love to do volunteer work, giving back to the community, maybe starting a nonprofit in some way. But somehow this sparks you to give back to others, which I think is going to be great for you. With regards to getting in touch with your more selfless side as opposed to your selfish side. So as you go through life, this could definitely spark something for you. Be open to that, and just be mindful of opening yourself up to new people, new friendships, and things that are different from what you normally align yourself with. All right. If you are, why is the light not on? Hold on a second. I gotta turn the light on. All right, pardon me. If you're a Taurus rising, your Saturn is going to be governing your ninth house. So your Capricorn rules your ninth house. So Saturn rules your ninth house. So for you, this is going to have a lot to do with your belief system. It's going to have a lot to do with your religious beliefs, your spiritual beliefs, how you see the world, what you truly believe in with regards to your morals and values. This is also going to be an area that governs foreign people and long distance travel and educational pursuits. Now, one of the things when I think about my Taurus risings with regards to religion is, in the beginning, and I always say this, typically when we're born, we inherit a religion. So basically we take on the religion of whatever our family is. So it's pretty much given to us and we don't have a choice. So for my Taurus risings, this could have possibly been a challenge for you in your younger years, or if you're right now in your 20s, this could be a challenge for you. And simply because you were given this is not something that you grew, like you learned, or you actually chose for yourself with regards to your religious beliefs. There may come a time, especially as you move towards your 30s, that you may become uncomfortable with your religious beliefs. You may start to question whether or not this is something that aligns for you. It may actually come down to you feeling like, I no longer align with this belief system, whether it's a organized religion, a spiritual practice, or just a belief system that you've had all your life. You may get to that point in life where you're like, I'm challenging everything that I was given, that I was told to believe in, that I have known to be true. And sometimes being a Taurus rising, that can be definitely a struggle for you. Taurus is a earth sign. So once they are grounded into something that they believe in, they will stay in it. Even if it's not serving them, even if it's to their detriment, a lot of them will stay in situations, relationships, belief systems, religions, till the end. Is because they're just committed to it. They could see the house is burning down around them with regards to this, but they won't move. So for my Taurus risings, this may come up as a struggle for you. You also could have some negative experiences around religion. So just depending, maybe you had negative experiences within the church circle, within your religious beliefs. Maybe you come from a family that is very hypocritical around religion. The whole don't question anything around religion. There could have been something that you had an experience that was a negative experience with a religious figure or a spiritual figure. So a lot of karma and lessons around your belief system. Now, the wonderful thing about this is at some point, if you are willing to open yourself up, willing to challenge and question what you believe in, you can actually create a belief system for yourself that really aligns with you and really supports you in the ways that you need to be supported. Also, as you get later on in life, my Taurus risings may be open to more long distance travel opportunities. So at some point you may grow a passion for travel. Also, this could prompt you to visit foreign lands and possibly move to a foreign country, move out, away, far away from where you were originally born. But it could prompt a travel thing for you. Also, education at some point later in life could become very important to you. So some of you may be delaying your educational pursuits, and then later on in life you decide to go back to school. Let me tell you something. Everything is about timing. So nothing is late or out of alignment. When we're talking about Saturn, we're talking about life getting better, you opening yourself up to later. So a lot of the experiences and changes that you have with this particular area of your life could be coming later on in life. So introducing yourself to a lot of travel, falling in love with travel, educating yourself. There's not an age limit on travel. There's not an age limit on educating yourself. There's not an age limit in opening yourself up to your religious or spiritual or just your belief system in general. So just be open to that. But that could be a challenging area for you. Again, this is Taurus energy, which is very, very much grounded. So it may take some time for you to be more open to that. You're another one that also could be stuck in a career path that does not necessarily serve you. Now, your 10th house is another one that's going to be heavily impacted by this, but it's also going to be impacted by Uranus. So the example that I give with Taurus rising around Saturn energy in your 10th house for you is, again, that not leaving when you're supposed to leave. But what it looks like for Taurus risings is, because Taurus is ruled by money, a lot of Taurus risings will pick careers and stay in careers simply for the money. They don't like the career. They're not happy. But if it is a steady paycheck, especially if it's a salary that, covers all their wants, their needs, and desires, they will stay grounded somewhere in a career path that is a dead-end career path. My Taurus risings is going to have to learn discernment and when it's time to move. Taurus energy likes a sure thing. They like to be they like a guarantee. But this particular energy with Uranus being there is no guarantee. You're going to have to do at some point in your life, you're going to have to make a career switch. Now, you can do that voluntarily or involuntarily. So, for instance, it could look like, just say, for instance, you were a teacher. I got a Taurus rising that's been a teacher for the last 20, 30 years. And this is where they've been. It's a safe profession. It pays the bills. It's a routine that they like. And one day they wake up and say, I no longer want to be a teacher and I'm going to go sell coconuts on the beach. That's what we're looking at when we're talking about this big switch for you later on in life with regards to that. I do know someone that went from being in hospital administration. They stayed there for years. They ultimately retired. This is Taurus energy. Ultimately retired. And then they started doing working at concert events. They finally found something that they enjoy, because Taurus likes to get out. They like to socialize. They like good music. So they went from an office job to a job where they were doing a lot of customer service and talking to people. So we're looking at a big switch in career for you, but you have to be open to it. Now, it can happen under your free will, or the universe may prompt you and push you and put you in a situation where that changes for you at some point. The next one we're going to talk about is Gemini rising. So Gemini rising, your Saturn Capricorn ruled house is going to be in your 8th house. The 8th house is about shared resources and shared finances. So we're looking at the monies, resources, and finances that you may share with another person. So that could look like your spouse. That could look like a business partner. That could look like family. But it's resources that you may share with another person or another entity. So we're looking at also inheritances, taxes, loans, insurance settlements, child support, monies that you owe to other people, money that is owed to you. This is also the area that governs sex and intimacy. Now, when we have Saturn here in the 8th house, one of the things that sticks out for me, if you're a Gemini rising, you are actually one of those people that I would strongly suggest that, especially if you are getting married, that you consider getting a prenup. And the reason I say that is because Saturn is there, you can have a lot of money challenges with the person that you tie your money to, especially in a marriage. Now, this could also be a business partner or a family dynamic, but particularly anybody that you are getting married to. You can go through the course of having money challenges because of someone else. So this could look like you marrying someone and you're not knowing how much debt they're carrying. You marrying someone and you don't know that their credit score is a -2. You marrying someone that is just not good with money and it shows up, in your finances. Now, this could also be you as well. This could be a flip of the switch and you are the person that has a lot of debt. And you're the person that has poor money management and has all these things going and liens and this and all of that. But you need to be very careful who you tie yourself, yes, a -2, who you tie yourself with financially. It can be to your detriment if you are not paying attention. So again, this would be Gemini rising. I would strongly suggest that you get a prenup. Or at best, you need to be really clear on what you are working with regards to connecting your money, even with someone in marriage, someone in business, just anyone that you do financial dealings with. You are not the people that can co-sign for anybody. I'm going to tell you that right now. You're not the person to co-sign for anyone. If anyone brings that to you, that's always going to be a no. Dead that. You can't co-sign for anyone. I wouldn't even say loan money because a lot of times you're going to be just kind of like going to take a loss in that area. You can also be a victim of a lot of scams. So you always have to be clear on who you're doing business with, who's bringing these business, quote unquote, business opportunities to you. You just have to really be careful. Another area that this could show up with, because this is the area of inheritance, you at some point could inherit money, but it becomes difficult with getting that money. So it could look like, just say for instance, you had a family member, a parent or something that passes on, and they decide to leave whatever money or whatever assets they have to you, and you are one of 3 or 4 siblings. They're going to take you to court. It is going to be a fight with that if that's not dealt with the way it needs to be dealt with. So just being mindful of who you're attaching yourself to with regards to finances. This could also look like you go through periods of extreme up and down with money. So just know that. So what this says for you is, this is about you getting clear and you learning the lessons around combining your money, who you combine your money with, how you pay debt, how you tackle debt, what kind of debt you take on. You have to be really, really diligent about your finances that are in conjunction with other people. Now, again, later on in life, again, you could be the recipient of insurance settlements. You can be the recipient of inheritances, taxes, things of that nature. You can be, but it seems like it's always a challenge for you around that area, okay? Another thing that could come up for you, because this is the area that governs sex and intimacy, one of the things with regards to sex is Gemini risings could have this thing where they go through these extreme periods of a drought in their sex life, even if they're partnered with someone. So you actually could find yourself maybe in sexless marriages. Now, none of this is a guarantee. I'm just letting you know what could the possibilities could be. You could find yourselves in sexless marriages. you can find yourself going long periods of time where you're celibate, which is nothing wrong with that. I think that actually is a great thing. You go through long periods of celibacy. This could also pan out with your intimate connections with others. There could be challenges around how you are able to relate to other people intimately. And when we talk about intimate relationships, it's not just romantic relationships. Intimate relationships could be with anyone. This could be with family. This could be with friends, loved ones, a romantic relationship. So you could go through a series of whereas your intimacy life struggles, and it just kind of, it goes with ebbs and flows. Now, another thing that could come up for you is, because this is the area that governs taboo things, this is the area that you're going to probably need a lot of deep psychological healing. One of the things that possibly could happen if you are a Gemini rising is there could be experiences of sexual trauma in your life early on. I don't want that for any one of you, and hopefully that is not your story. But if you're a Gemini rising, that could be something that comes up early on in life, that you are, you are someone that experiences sexual trauma early on, and it kind of plays out in your life. You really need to, if that is you, if you're a Gemini rising, and if that is something that has happened to you, I send you healing, but you're going to need to deal with that on a deep psychological level, because it will play out in your life. It will show up later on in your life, and it will sabotage your relationships. And also, what we're talking about, we're switching to the other house that is affected by Saturn, which is going to be your 9th house. So a lot of the same experiences Taurus has around 9th house with regards to education, belief system, travel, are going to be the same for you, but yours is going to be a little bit of a twist as well. I want you to be open, especially around your religious beliefs or your spiritual beliefs, being open to outside of the box ways of worshiping. You are going to have to define what it looks like for you in your belief system. You're going to have to define what it looks like for you in your spiritual life. So what this may be for my Gemini risings, a period of testing different things to see what works for you. So you may go from religion to religion, trying to find something that you connect with. You may develop your own individual spiritual practices to find out what aligns with you. Another thing is, a lot of education could come up for you. So you could get the opportunity where you have these bouts of wanting to educate yourself. You're another one that could have the opportunity to travel, and even more so, you may actually benefit with relocating long distance. So you going outside of your current country of where you live and actually residing somewhere else could actually do a lot for your healing for yourself. That's what I would say for my Gemini risings. So does anyone have any questions about Aries, Taurus, or Gemini? Hey, April. All right, so if you're ready to move on, give me a thumbs up, and we are going to go into Cancer rising. I have 2 Cancer risings on here, so all right, so let's get to Cancer rising. All right, Cancer rising. So give me some feedback if I hit some, strike a nerve with you. If you're a Cancer rising, your Saturn ruled house is about your one-on-one relationships. All right, so I already know somebody on here already telling me, yeah, this is the problem. Okay, so, but it's not a problem. Okay, if you're a Cancer rising, Saturn is ruling your 7th house of one-on-one relationships. So when we talk about one-on-one relationships, we are talking about those conscious chosen relationships that you go into with another person. So this does look like relationships, marriage, long-term committed relationships, family relationships, friend relationships, business partnerships. Again, these are the relationships that we go into consciously and chosen. All right. And this is also the area that governs legal binding agreements. So with Saturn on the 7th house, one of the things is the love life, I just have to be honest with you, sucks. It sucks early on in life. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be very honest with my Cancer rising. Love really does not start to even look like it's going to improve until we get into your mid-30s. And then it's still a challenge. So here's what happens. One of the things that I notice for you and for Leo rising, that any kind of marriage prior to like 29, if you get married, this is not everyone, but this is somewhat of a theme. More than likely that is going to be a marriage that does not last. Okay, it probably won't last. Now, if it does last, it will be a challenge to keep it together. So it will require a lot of work. You can stay together, but you're going to work for a substantial amount of time before that relationship really gets to where it needs to be. Another thing that you have to be mindful of with regards to my Cancer rising is you could experience long periods of time where you're not in a relationship, because we're just looking at it from a romantic standpoint right now. So you could go extended periods of time where you're not in a relationship, where there's just nobody in your life. And it's nothing wrong with that. It is nothing wrong with that. But sometimes it does get old for you. I understand that. I understand. But I want you to know that it does get better later on in life. Now, yours is one that the relationship component gets better later in life. And I can probably tell you, I'm not going to tell you when it could be, because I don't want nobody freaking out. But just know that the period in which you're not in a relationship, or it's just you just don't feel like you're finding your person, is really the period that you need to figure out who you are. Because the number one relationship in this house is the relationship that you have with yourself. And a lot of times, if you have not figured that relationship out, if you have not healed yourself as an individual, Saturn will delay the relationship that you want with another person. Because this is an effort for you to get into relationship with yourself. Love yourself. Honor yourself. Do all the work that you need to do. Treat yourself the way you want a partner to treat you. And until Saturn feels like you've gotten that lesson, you've gotten your self-esteem up, you know your self-worth, you know how to honor yourself, it will probably delay that love that you're looking for until Saturn feels like you've gotten the lesson. I know y'all don't want to hear that. I know y'all don't want to hear that, but it will. Now, another thing that can happen with Saturn on the 7th house is you may be draw partners to you, or you may ultimately end up, hey friend, with someone where there is an age difference with regards to you. So I guess I'll be dying alone. And no, you will not be dying alone. No, you won't be dying alone. You won't be dying alone. Don't say that. But sometimes there's an age difference in your partnerships. So this could mean you may be drawing someone that is much older than you, or you could be the person that is the older person in the relationship. And if it's not a chronological difference in age, it could be that the person just has a lot of wisdom and they seem a lot more mature. Now, on the same token, Saturn in the 7th house can also put you in predicaments. And this is across the board with any one-on-one relationship, where you have people that don't give you the emotional connection that you need. Because Saturn can be kind of cold. So you're not finding people that you can be emotionally attached. This can draw partners to you or people to you that don't give you the emotional connection that you need. Can be kind of emotionally shut down. This could also bring in some partners, which I think is more Pluto energy, but this could also bring in partners that could be kind of controlling, and they may be a little bit manipulative. Now, again, this could be both ways. It could be you doing this at any given time in any given relationship. But the point of Saturn in the seventh house is for you to learn how to do relationships, to learn how to do partnerships in a healthy way. And unfortunately, what Saturn says, I cannot give you what you want or what you need until you learn the lesson on how to do healthy relationships. I know y'all didn't want to hear that, but it just is what it is. Okay. Now, for you, Cancer rising, you're another one that's going to have some eighth house energy as well. So you would do well with making sure you pay attention who you partner with regards to your money as well. I would tell you to get a prenup as well. And just be open to that. Now, one of the things that also happens with you with regards to this energy that does not happen for Gemini rising is this is an energy around you being experimental with your sex life. So for my Cancer rising, this could look like, because it's the area that governs taboo things or things that we keep hidden, if you have certain sexual proclivities or things that you enjoy that may not necessarily be of the norm to society, be open to acting on those or experimenting. This could give you the energy of wanting to experiment more with your sexuality, with your sex life, with whom you share your body with, your intimate connections with. So be open to knowing that you have that energy around you that could support you in getting your fantasies and your needs met on a sexual level. I will say that to you. But you're another one that always needs to protect your money as well, because you could have people that try to take advantage of you financially. And also you being more responsible with your own finances. You may be taking advantage of your own self and not being a good steward over your money, whereas you have difficulties with money as well. So the money component will show up with you as well, Cancer rising. All right. Leo rising. All right. So let's talk about my Leo risings. That's me and Carmenza on here. So for Leo rising, your Saturn ruled house is your sixth house of health and fitness. So we're talking about health and fitness, both mental and physical health. We're also talking about your work environment, your work habits, your service to others, and what else? Your pets. So with Saturn being on the sixth house, let me tell you something. One of the good things about Saturn on the sixth house is this could actually bode well for your health actually improving as you get older. Sometimes you'll see Saturn in the sixth house or Saturn ruled houses where these people live a very, very long and healthy life. But you have to be very diligent about how you take care of yourself early on. So it will be a constant challenge on making sure you're eating right, making sure you stay on your diet, you have your supplements, your checkups. These are the people that need to have a checkup every year. You need to have everything done because your health could suffer. However, at the same time, your health could get better depending on how you take care of yourself in those early years. What you'll also find is dental work. Let me tell you something. I feel like I've been doing dental work for the last 20 years. That is the area that has been my Achilles heel, is dental work. So, and also the hard parts of your body that you need to always pay attention to. Your knees, your elbows, your teeth, any kind of skeletal or bone structure about you. Another thing that you'll find is the mental health can suffer. The mental health can suffer because mental and physical health is in this area. So these are the people that can have severe depression, severe anxiety. and it needs to be addressed. But a lot of times you'll find Leo risings will not address this until it gets out of control. So if you're in your earlier years, if you're in your 20s and 30s, this will be the time for you to start to really pay attention to your health. Take care of yourself, your mental health. Go to therapy, get some help. If you need to get on some medication to stabilize your moods, do that, because that will benefit you later on. Now, where I see it show up also is in your work environment. Leo risings may have challenges with finding the ideal work environment. Not the ideal, and sometimes it can be the career. But because the work environment is here, Leo risings may have challenges with finding something that they love. They may have a tendency to get bored with their work, with a job. They may have a tendency to hop around for several years until they find what fits them. I'm a Leo rising. I didn't find my ideal career until I was 41 years old. And I ain't going to even lie. I changed jobs every 2 years from the time I was in my mid to late 20s up until I found my career path that I'm in now. I changed jobs literally every 2 years because I hated it. But what I found myself doing was I would change jobs, but it would be the same dynamics. So finding the ideal work environment for you could be a challenge for a while. So it may be that you get to your late 30s and into your 40s where you just now figure out what it is you want to do, where you want to be, and how that looks for you. Another thing that could come up for Leo risings in this cycle is you actually over your lifetime may be a caregiver to one or multiple people. So this could look like you caring for an ailing parent, you caring for a family member, maybe you caring for a spouse, but you may find yourself in a caregiver role. Let me tell you something. That is something that is very much Leo rising, because Leos deal strictly from the heart. Especially if it's someone they love, this is how they're going to express their love, and they have a hard time saying no. Be careful when you're finding yourself being thrust into a caregiver role, but that could definitely come up for you and could pose a challenge, because you could end up in this cycle of you're the caregiver for everyone, and everyone has the expectation that you're going to do it. Be very, very careful if you find yourself in that type of dynamic. But again, this Saturn for you, I sure hate it because they can't stay here. I'm just saying, that could be a thing. So the thing of it is with you, your work environment being a challenge for you until a little bit later on in life. How you treat your body and your health later on in life is really going to determine what it looks like down the road. So being careful, being mindful, being diligent about taking care of your mental and physical health now is very, very much important to your longevity and to your life. All right. And that caregiver thing could come up maybe more than once in your lifetime. You're going to have to say no, baby. You're going to have to say no. Now, another way that this shows up is in your 7th house of relationships. Much like when I was talking to Cancer, a lot of times with Leo risings, and I did a whole video on the Leo rising love life and how it is very strange. I think it's the strangest love life of the zodiac. A lot of delays on when the real thing comes along. Sometimes you can find Leo risings that don't marry at all, or they marry very late in life. Now, again, you're one that if we do the marriage thing before 29, it can end one of two ways. And this is not to say this is for everyone, but this could end up not working out, or this could end up a marriage that you have to work very, very hard to keep together. So it is very, very important for Leo risings to really understand themselves and be clear on what they want in relationships. The key to the success of a Leo rising's relationship is you cannot do it the way everyone else does it. You have to carve out your individual relationships. We are talking particularly around romantic relationships and marriage. You and your partner are going to have to determine what your relationship is going to look like. And it may not look like the quote unquote traditional relationship. For example, y'all may be a couple that is a little bit older when you get married. I see a lot of Aquarius risings finally ultimately find the love of their life later on in life. And when I say later on in life, this is typically in their 50s. But that's okay. Love comes when it's supposed to come. This could also look like Leo risings not actually wanting to be married, wanting to be in a relationship and in a long-term committed relationship, but they don't necessarily have to be married in the traditional sense. Whereas society says everybody got to be married, Leo risings will do better if they really would just accept the fact that maybe the traditional way marriage is done is not for me. Maybe I just want a long-term committed relationship and I can be very much happy. So it's all about carving out what is right for you and the other person and not worrying about what it looks like to society. Only about how it works for the two of you is going to really be the guarantee of success around your relationship. And I'm always trying to be transparent. It took me so long to realize that I had to do it that way. Now, for me, hey, honey, there are certain aspects of relationships and marriage that I still hold on to in a traditional sense. But two of the biggest things for me is I am not necessarily wanting to be married. I had to realize that I ain't never been one of them girlies that was planning their wedding out in their head, because I really never cared about being married. I really didn't. I knew I wanted to be a mother, but I never thought about wanting to be a wife. So, not to say that I wouldn't get married, but it ain't really like something that I have to have. And the second thing is, I don't want to live with anybody. I've said that multiple times. I don't want to live with nobody. I really don't want to live with anybody. And I highly doubt that, well, I'm not going to say highly doubt, but it's not high probability that I'm going to meet a man that is going to, if we decided to get married, is going to allow me to stay in one house and he stays in another. I wish he would. I will be throwing that out there, but I don't want to live with anybody. The thought of that gives me anxiety. So I really need to find someone that'll get on board with. And so if it came down to, if someone were to say, let's get married and we have to live in the same house, my response would be, well, let's just leave it the way it is, living separately, and we don't have to get married, because I don't want to live with anybody. And that is what my Leo risers have to understand. Carve it out the way it works for you. That's the only way that you're going to be happy in relationships. All right? So we got that. That's it. I feel that I like separate houses. Yes! Why can't we just do that? Oh, why you gotta be in my house? I don't like that. I don't like that. I feel like I want to go to your house and spend the night. You can come to my house and spend the night. And I need one full day and night that I am in my own space by myself. I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you. So anyway, the next one is going to be Virgo rising. So if you are a Virgo rising, your Saturn ruled house is your 5th house. Now, this is the house of children. This is the house of pregnancy. This is the house of romance, our love affairs. This is the dating house. 7th house is the relationship house. But this is the dating house. This is the house of our creativity. And Aries is where we take a risk. Now, Saturn ruled houses for Virgo rising in the 5th house. One of the challenges that could be around is pregnancy. Again, this is not to say this is everybody. This is not a generalization of everybody. But for Virgo risings, this could be a challenge in getting pregnant. this could be a challenge in a delay in pregnancy or a delay in having children. Whatever is caused by the delay is caused by the delay, but there may be some challenges around you becoming a parent. And if you are a parent, this could be challenges around your relationship with your children. That could start off a little bit challenging for you and how you parent your children. Or this could be you having a child that has behavioral issues, or sometimes with Saturn being there in the fifth house of children, this could bode for someone that does have a child, but this child is very much independent. So you don't have to do a lot with this child because they're so independent. And I don't know, that could be a good and a challenging thing as well. But you may have some difficulties around your relationship with your children. Maybe you need to learn how to parent, or maybe the natural parent instinct just doesn't come to you, and it takes you a while to bond with your child or to figure out your child rearing style or your parenting style. Could be that. Now, how this also could show up is in your dating life. So again, with Saturn being the planet of delay and time, this could take a lot of time for you to find potential dating suitors. So your romantic life may not be as progressive or may not go as smoothly as you would like. You may find yourself in long periods of time where you're not in a relationship or there's not a lot of dating prospects for you. So that could be something as well. You could find yourself in a series of relationships or dating situations where you're just really not happy in the relationship, but you're just kind of there and you kind of stay in the relationship. So your dating life may be a challenge for you as well. This is also the area that governs, it's the house of joy. So this is where we just find unadulterated joy in ourselves and things that bring us joy. And it may be a challenge for you to find your happiness for a while within your life, especially in your 20s and 30s. You just may go through a period of, I'm just not happy. Nothing is satisfying me. My dating life is not satisfying me. I want to have children and I haven't found anyone, a suitable partner to have children with, or I have children and I'm having so many difficulties and behavioral issues with my children. So it just seems like it's a series of periods where you go through life where you're just generally not in a happy place. You're going to have to work really hard to find your joy. All right. In those 20s and 30s for you, Virgo rising, finding your joy may be difficult. You may feel like I'm never going to find anything that brings me joy. I'm never going to find any happiness. My dating life is never going to be good. That is not true. That is not true. This is just the area that's going to take a little bit longer for it to prosper for you. And you have to do a little bit more work around that. Now, Saturn rule fifth house, I will tell you, it may bring difficulties in pregnancy. I keep coming back to pregnancy because I would say to you, and this could be for anyone, man or woman, if there's a history of infertility, if there's a history of, you have a physical history around your reproductive organs, it would behoove you to be proactive in that and possibly going to a doctor or a specialist to see if you would have any potential difficulties with having a family or having children. I know that's a sensitive topic, but I would be remiss not to say this to my Virgo risings, that you may want to be on the more proactive side of this to see if there could be any challenges down the line, because pregnancy could come a little bit later in life for you. Now, another thing is, y'all can be one of those people that go through life, never got pregnant, didn't even think about getting pregnant, and then around the age of 40 or something like that, you pop up pregnant. Because this can deem a late stage pregnancy for those of you. So don't think that you are totally out of the woods just because you're in your 40s or something like this. This could be Virgo risings popping up pregnant a little bit later in life and part of a surprise. All right. If you're Virgo rising, you're another one that could should pay a lot of attention to your health, especially you, both mental and physical, if you're a Virgo rising, because this could really be a challenge for you with regards to anxiety, depression, things of that nature, everything that has to do with the mind. So you're another one that needs to pay attention to their health, physical and mental health. You're another one that probably could possibly have challenges in finding the right work dynamic for you. So just understand that. But because this is an Aquarian type of energy, what I would suggest for my Virgo risings is, especially by way of your health, you're those people that, whereas I support traditional medicine for you, but you're one of those people that really needs to research holistic methods of healing your body, both mentally and physically. You need to combine traditional medicine along with holistic medicine in order for you to maintain a level of optimal health. A lot of you need to change up your diet in a drastic way. So at some point in your life, there may be a call for you to change your dietary needs in a major way. Supplements, herbs, again, changing up your diet, maybe becoming vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, whatever that looks like for you. There is a benefit for you with regards to holistic methods of healing your body, therapy, and that's also therapy in a traditional sense as well as in a holistic sense as well for you. You can also find yourself a little bit in a caregiver role at some point, and keep in mind Virgo does rule the 6th house. Virgo is the sign of the service to others. But I want you to pay attention to who you are in service to. Be diligent, be discerning about who you are showing up for. I can't stop a Virgo energy placement from showing up for people. That's just what they do. But I can ask you to be discerning about who you share that nature with, that nature of wanting to serve and help others. Be very discerning about who you share that with. That's what I say to you. All right. So I'm going to tell you this. My computer is about to shut off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop right there. So we did the first 6 signs. How about we do the next 6 on tomorrow, because my battery is about to die. So right now, if you have any questions about Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, or Virgo, I can try to answer those, and we will pick up the last 6 on tomorrow. All right, because my battery is about to go out. And I wanted to end this live at about 8:30. I didn't want to keep you guys on here forever. So if you have questions about the first 6 signs, I can answer them real quickly. If not, we will resume this on tomorrow. I will send out another invite or announcement with regards to it, and we will continue with Libra through Pisces. All right? So if there's no more questions, I'm going to sign off temporarily until tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you have been helped so far, and I will see you guys on tomorrow. Bye-bye.